What's up guys, welcome back. It's been quite a while since I've done a video personally. I know you guys get them every week, but it's been about a week for me, which is unusual. So please forgive any awkwardness or bad camera angle. I'm gonna make it a little bit brighter in here. So today I have a nice video planned. I'm gonna be giving a review on the Peterson Deluxe mixture. And I'm also going to be unboxing and opening some WO Larsen standard, or signature, I should say. So we're gonna go over that, should be great. Just get both of these in camera here. Sweet, good deal. So pretty excited, gonna open this and cellar it so I can actually start smoking it, which will be cool. Cause I haven't started smoking it yet. Right now in the meerschaum I have some deluxe mixture. I had it lit up before this video, but it took me a little bit of time to get the camera set up because, like I said, it's been a week and my cats frequent this building, so they tend to move things around kind of as they see fit. Right now it's about 1:30 a.m. so a little bit later than my normal videos. I normally do record videos at like 11 p.m. so a little bit earlier than what it is now. But yeah, got freaking crackhead neighbors out there doing something with power tools. Living out in the country is not always what it's deemed up to be, I guess I should say. So yeah. I want to say right now I have the, I'll set this pipe down. I have the Peterson Deluxe mixture canned up right now. I've been opening it frequently and taking some from it. It's quickly become my favorite so far. It's an aromatic, if you're unfamiliar. I'll read the description on the back. It says, this Black Cavendish is a selection of mature Virginia tobaccos from Brazil and Africa, blended with a loose-cut, mellow Black Cavendish, which is complemented by a very auspicious sweetness of vanilla, walnut, and honey. Strength, they give it a 2. Aromatic taste, they give it a 5. Room note, they give it a 3. I would definitely agree with the strength and the aromatic taste. I don't know about the room note. I think most to all pipe tobaccos smell incredible and are lovely to be around. So it's hard for me to comment on room note. But this is a 50 gram, 1.75 ounce tin of Peterson, just traditional measurements and sizes. It's got some wonderful advertisements, I guess. Colors. I really like the color of this one. It's kind of hard to tell because it's so dark in here. I just don't have good lighting, is what it is. But there's a older gentleman smoking a pipe on the front, and it says Superior Products with the trademark Curly Q Peterson P. But yeah, no, this has like been a fantastic smoke. I don't know when this video is going to come out, but I have been smoking this through Thanksgiving, and my great aunt said that she absolutely loved the smell of it and it did not bother her at all. So take that for what you will. Well, now that we've kind of gone over the packaging, not much to say. It's just your classic tin. I can't ramble on for hours like some people can that I know. on their videos, but maybe later in the future I will be able to do more longer form content than that. I tend to prefer to be reading or doing something a bit more, not necessarily productive, but cognitively inclined, I guess. But yeah, overall, definitely the first time I opened it, it was overwhelming. I want to say it reminded me more of like a caramel. It was very overwhelming. If you really stuck your nose in it, it would be way too much. There was no lacking of aromatic scent. It says it's got the walnut, the honey, and vanilla. I mean, definitely has some undertones of vanilla and honey in there, as well as a nutty, walnutty flavor. But for me, it's just like, it tastes just like a caramel macchiato drink or something very heavily, like almost like a Weathers original, kind of butterscotch more. Than I get more of that than I do just vanilla and honey. But it may be the combo of vanilla and honey that makes caramel. But overall, really enjoyed this smoke. I've been meaning to make this video for a while. I kind of have gotten into this session where it's like, I want to try all these new tobaccos that you guys saw in my last video from the haul, but kind of gotta save them, you know, to do a video with. Otherwise, it's kind of like, it's not like a waste necessarily, but I'm just very excited to enjoy several of them. I will say, since this has been my first experience with a aromatic blend, I never expected to, excuse me, I had to spit. I've never expected to really enjoy aromatics. I thought I was going to be more of a traditional English burley kind of tobacco enjoyer, more like, you know, fire, campfire, smoky smells. Like I said, there's something very enjoyable about the sweetness and the scent you get from an aromatic that I was not expecting to enjoy so much. So since then, I have definitely dove more into aromatics. I have recently acquired a pound of Sutliff hot chocolate, the frosty mint, and maple walnut. So far, I've tried the frosty mint and the hot chocolate. Dude, when they say that it is frosty mint, they freaking mean it. It is very strong. Oh, you're definitely gonna get menthol. It's pretty freaking awesome. If you're like a menthol, mint, spearmint enjoyer, it's a very good combination of those. It's not very pepperminty, but it's definitely more of like a mint and spearmint flavor. It really kind of reminded me of a higher quality, like brand new, like Newport cigarette, straight out of the pack. Hasn't been opened yet, so it's still fresh, you know. Or like a Marlboro Ice. When I was younger, I used to smoke the Camel Crush with the little, you know, plastic bead in it that you could break to get menthol. It reminds me a lot of that, but like way stronger and menthol, which I personally like because it's hard to, it's really kind of disappointing when you have something with menthol and it's not enough menthol. It's more disappointing than if it's too much menthol. I mean, you're just like, cool, I mean, more menthol, you know. I don't know, in my opinion. But yeah, I will say on the initial light of the bowl, it's not very present with the scents that it really has. You really start getting that developed flavor and aroma about halfway through your bowl. Generally I get it after I've like maybe packed it the additional time after, or tamped it rather, the additional time after lighting. That first tamp after fully lighting it up and everything, that's when you really start to get a taste of the flavors and the specific nuances that it has in store. It's definitely very low tongue bite, very low to no tongue bite, depending on how fast you smoke it. Yeah, I really just get like a caramel, which is probably the honey and vanilla combining together. I will say the room note from the bowl itself is more vanilla, but the mouth flavor to me is more of the honey caramel flavor. It's freaking, honestly, it's tremendously wonderful. If there was a way that you could purchase it in a larger quantity than 1.75 ounces, I would probably buy a pound of it if it was more discounted. Right now, I really don't. After trying the amazing blends from Sutliff, I can't justify spending $7 an ounce when you can get really, really good Sutliff tobacco for a little over $2 an ounce. So, personal opinion. But yeah, so that's my review of the Deluxe mixture. I would say the strength is definitely out of 4, like a 2. It's not gonna kick you on your butt, but it is gonna be pleasant, and you will lose that monster on your back for your nicotine craving if you have one from smoking this, which is good. The aromatic smell from the bowl smell is really pleasant, especially halfway through to further through the bowl. I think this is one of those where, like I said earlier, it kind of gets better the more you progress through the bowl, in my opinion. So to really develop those flavors, you need the sugars to drop down more into the bowl and to condense and everything, come closer together at the end. Yeah, definitely has a strong kind of sweetness that's very pleasant. It's definitely not one you should smoke fast. I would say that on a slow to fast scale, it's definitely a 1 to a 2. I would not smoke this, and every time I've smoked this mixture, I've tried to really take my time with it. Because when you get that really slow, cool puffing smoke, that's when you get the most flavor, and it's very pleasant and nice. Plus, I've been really working on smoking slower to reduce gurgling as I'm experiencing this pipe smoking journey. So anyways, yeah, got it all tinned up. I don't really have a whole lot of it left, like maybe 10 more bowls or something. I've really been enjoying it. It was the only thing I smoked over Thanksgiving, around family and stuff like that outside, when we had the opportunity. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Very impressed with it. So having that experience now with the Peterson, very excited to try this Larsen signature. I bought this just because I really enjoyed the packaging. I personally love packaging. I think it's really a nuanced thing that you kind of lost nowadays. Like, I love the traditional tobacco packaging and advertisement and all that. But yeah, no, this is really great. Obviously it's produced by the Scandinavian Tobacco Group, so say what you want. My personal opinion is I just hope that they keep as many of the Sutliff and Mac Baren blends as they can. I really don't want them to not produce what we all enjoy and love together. And it's kind of a scary thing to fall in love with a blend. So much so that hearing about the company closing, you want to buy, 20, 30 pounds of it so you have it for life, But anyways, super excited to get into this. On the side it says twist coin to open. I'm not really sure what that's in reference to. It does have like, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it's got like a little slit right there where you could like pop something underneath it. I'm sure I could just get a fingernail under there and it'll open. It's just a 10. But it says, W.O. Larsen was established in 1864 by Wilhelm Auchenholt Larsen in the heart of Copenhagen, Denmark. Copenhagen, nice. No wonder this grew to be fairly popular. I know Copenhagen dip tobacco is very, very popular, at least where I live here in Texas. It says this is a signature vintage mixture created from matured American Virginia, Mexican Burley, and Sweet Virginia from Malawi. I guess I don't know the difference between American Virginia and Sweet Virginia. I thought all Virginias tended to be a little sweeter. The mixture is refined with mellow black Cavendish, loose cut, and ready rub. So it's basically just ready for you to stick in your pipe and smoke. The aroma is said to be caramel, strawberry, and vanilla, which I'm very excited for because, as I've already said, I have loved the caramel flavor I've gotten from the deluxe mixture, even though it's supposed to be vanilla and honey and walnut. I have loved it. So this seems like a tobacco that would be right up my alley and enjoyment. So it's got very wonderful, wonderful packaging, very cool look overall. I think it's a great tin. I wish it was more resealable. I gotta figure out something cool to do with all the tins I have, because it would be like a waste, in my opinion, just to throw them away, I'm not sure what to do with them though. There we go. Whew, now we popped it open. The inside of the tin's a little gold color, very cool. You can see the impressionist of the stamps on the inside, the markings. And then this is actually pretty cool. The other side has nothing in it. So the tobacco itself came in what looks to me like a Mylar, if that's how you pronounce it. Mylar or something bag. It's the same type of bag that they put coffee beans in. This is very, very cool packaging. So let's see if I can get this to focus in. Hopefully it will. Sorry, I don't know. I can't really see on the small screen. I'm not like the most, I don't have the best vision in the world, even though I wear contacts, so it's got some really cool, it says W.O. Larsen all over, it's gold. It's really just like a pouch of tobacco. Pretty freaking cool to have that in there. I'm glad they did do this because, like I said, that tin was not very well sealed by itself. Whereas like the traditional, Peterson and all that, you get like that vacuum sealability. This did not have that, so very nice to see this. So we're gonna take this little W.O. Larsen tab here. Gonna undo that. It says pull here, so that's what we will do. Ooh. And that came off real easily. Very sweet. I can't really smell any of this tobacco, which is a really good sign. That means it's sealed properly. I also brought me a mason jar, so I'm just going to instantly cellar it. The point of me showing the unboxing of this tobacco to you guys is so that I can start smoking it, to give a more informed opinion of it in a week from now, after I've had it more than a couple times. My first couple videos, maybe it's easier to do with English blends. Aromatics, I feel like, before I can really determine if I enjoyed it and all my specific opinions about it, I have to smoke it for like a week and kind of develop a stronger base for how I really feel about it. So that's kind of the point of the video, was to, go over the Peterson Deluxe mixture now that I've been smoking on it for over a week, kind of give you my overall enjoyment of it, and then be able to finally start smoking this. I've been looking forward to this ever since I got it. This was definitely one of the blends that I was looking forward to the most, especially when I saw the packaging of it. I bought, so this comes in 3.53 ounces, so a little over 3.5 ounces of tobacco. It cost me, I think, $20 or $22 on pipesandscigars.com. Honestly, I think that's a great price for 3.5 ounces. This is double what a Peterson is for a little bit under what would cost 2x of a Peterson 10. So it's definitely, they're definitely claiming they are of the same quality within a couple dollars of Peterson. So we will definitely put that to the test since I've been primarily smoking Peterson. Although I gotta say, man, Sutliff is great. I didn't understand initially because I had like literally STG announced what they announced with Sutliff closing down in America and other stuff like that, like a week into me starting my pipe smoking journey. So I didn't really even know what that really entailed and what that meant, but I do have a greater understanding now, and I can understand why people are very upset because they do produce very, very high quality tobaccos for a very reasonable price. I mean, all the pounds I bought were $37 each, and for a pound of tobacco, like that's amazing, especially coming from like at one point in time buying cigarettes and buying weed and all these other drugs and all that I've been through in my life. You know, $37 for a pound of tobacco when you use like, you know, 2, maybe 3 grams per bowl, and that bowl can last you all day depending on how you smoke it. If you want it to, of course. You know, you can have as many as you want, but I'm gonna open up the sides here. I know I'm kind of stalling, but it's because it took me so long to get this video to work today. I came out here all excited and ready to do it. I put my daughter to bed, and then my wife came in and took over for me in the bed, and I was really excited to come out here and do the video. And then I get the camera all set up, I get my bowl all packed, I'm like ready to do this full thing, and then I realized I had like left the camera on from the last time I recorded and uploaded, so it was completely dead. So then I sat out here with a wall charger for like 30 minutes, and it only charged the camera like 4%. I was like, okay, this is not, I'm never gonna be able to do this video tonight, and this is like really the only night where I have time because I have college finals coming up tomorrow and next week. So I wasn't gonna have as much available free time. So I brought out the old trusty Swiss Tech, you know, portable charger. Honestly, man, I mean, obviously I'm not sponsored. I get like 3 views a video. Yeah, that thing's been fantastic. If you want something that'll charge your stuff quick and give you at least 2, maybe 3 charges, full charges on a phone, that thing's awesome, man. It takes forever though to charge up, I will say, if I had a complaint, but overall, man, it's great. It literally charged my camera from 4% to 15% in like 10 minutes. When I had sat out here 30 minutes and it only charged it to 4% just off being connected to the wall. Granted, that could be a really crappy charging block or whatever, cable, whatever, but I love it, man. It's been great. All right, so let's finally break into this W.O. Larsen Signature Series blend. I'm gonna break through the top here. You're broken through about 3 layers. I'm kind of getting that strawberry smell. Although it's not very strong, which means their packaging is phenomenal. All right. Ooh, that's a great smell. So it kind of reminds me of like it's already rubbed, but it's like in the shape of like a big plug. Oh man. Definitely heavy on the strawberry and berry smell. Ooh, yeah. That smells like a fresh plate of strawberries. Moisture level is pretty good, actually. It's not dry. I can feel the moisture in it. It's not too wet though. Like if you wanted to open this up and just immediately smoke it, you definitely could. I've noticed with some of the sutlifts I've ordered, like the hot chocolate and stuff, it's got maybe too high of a moisture content to just rip straight out of the bag and smoke. Wow, that is amazing scent. I don't even smell the tobacco. That's pretty crazy. Granted, I have been smoking my pipe, but I might be nose blind to the tobacco itself, but wow. Okay, so looking at it, and I'll show you guys in a minute whenever I get it in this jar. You can definitely see the brighter Virginias with the black Cavendish mixed in, just as it described. I think the burley is the more medium brown cuts. The Virginias are the more paler cuts, I believe. I'm not an expert. And obviously the black Cavendish is black, which I really love black Cavendish. That's a fantastic tobacco leaf. Yeah, overall, now that I've smelt it several times, it's 100% like a strawberry smell for sure. I hope that resonates when you smoke it. Not really picking up caramel at all. It's just a really sweet strawberry. There's like it's like an undernote of vanilla. It kind of reminds me of like if there was a strawberry coffee creamer, and there probably is, I just don't know of one. But I would say that's exactly what this is. It's very much like a strawberry shortbread or strawberry shortcake. I think it's one of those two things. Definitely like the cakey, like bready, fresh cake smell. With some like fresh strawberries on top, like strawberry shortcake, yeah. It's literally strawberry shortcake. That's what they should have named this blend. Wow, that is freaking amazing. I'm just like so thrilled with the smell of it. Wow. Okay. Well, let me get this all packed up. Let me get some of this other like loose tobacco on this tray, small amount. Let me get it out of here. I think the next video I'm gonna do, if it's not another unboxing. Dude, that just smells so good, honestly. Definitely, if you've never tried this before, pick you up a 10 just to try it if you're an aromatic person. Wow. I can only imagine that that's gonna be a really, really nice tobacco. Yeah, so I was saying, I think in an upcoming video, I'm going to do a blend video. I have an idea for a blend with the flavors I have, and I would really love to attempt to do that. All right, we got it all out on the tray, good Lord. I'll lift the tray up so you can see. When it's not packed into that pouch, it really spaces out and gets a lot of tobacco. All right. Yeah, that's just wonderful. Look at this freaking pile. Freaking pile here. Start packing this in here. It is a little dry, not too dry, definitely smokable. It feels about like what a Peterson moisture content would be. So since they're claiming they are worth a Peterson's price tag, I would agree with them so far. With the moisture content, it feels a lot like a Peterson tobacco. The packaging was top notch. in my opinion. That's what I want out of like a tobacco tin. When I order a tobacco tin, I want that experience of like it should remind me of like a really expensive, you know, any other expensive item. Like whenever I buy, you know, really nice coffees or something, you know, it comes in that special packaging and it makes you appreciate the work and effort that went into making that product even more. I feel like when you just get a bag of bulk tobacco, you know, I mean, you can really appreciate the smells and the aroma of it, but you don't really get that whole like customer appeal of it from a marketing perspective. It's definitely one I will say, because I know some tobaccos, like, I haven't had any yet personally, but I know that they will just like put their tobacco in like a freaking, like a Peterson circle tin, and they won't like wrap it in anything, so it'll be in contact with the metal all the time. And those are like recommended, or like those little square tins, the like rectangle ones. I know those are recommended to like pull out as soon as you get it and like instantly cellar them, because they're not sealed properly most of the time, and it's like it's drying out consistently. This brand, however, this Larsen, you can 100% just keep it in the tin if you wanted to cellar it for like a year or two right after purchase, or for however long you wanted. I'm putting it in the Mason because I plan on smoking it. Definitely after that scent. So here it is, it's in the Mason. I don't know if you guys can see the colors of the tobacco, but it's definitely got a really good spread. The colors of like the deluxe mixture is a lot more black Cavendish with very few Virginia and Burleys mixed in. This is definitely more of like a 50-50-50 or 33 all blend, which is cool to see, especially because the hot chocolate one that I have right now and the maple walnut is primarily black Cavendish, or it's the specific spray coating they use on it that makes it so dark. I'm not sure. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Ooh, I probably should have ashed this before so I didn't get so much of an ashy taste. I don't normally get like an ashy taste because I ash fairly often, but that was a bit more unpleasant than pleasant for sure. There we go. That's a little better. Plus I got this whole freaking gurgling I need to take care of. Smoking too fast, man. Definitely the cause of the gurgling. I wish I could take more time with it and slow down. But sometimes you just like, I don't know if you guys experience this, but sometimes you just want to have a pipe, you know? I don't have the time necessarily to sit down for like an hour, hour and a half. I just want to enjoy it in like 10, 15 minutes. Man, I really enjoy this deluxe mixture. It's just a great flavor. I'm kind of nervous after having such good experience with aromatics going back to just an English, but I think it'll be just as pleasant. I really love smoking like meat and stuff, so I don't think it'll ever be a turn off to have just a pure English blend. or Oriental, I guess, too. But if you guys have any suggestions on what I should do with the tobacco tins, let me know. I don't know what most people tend to do with them. Hack this back down. I've also really been enjoying, and nothing against this meerschaum pipe or anything, I've really been enjoying my briar pipe more lately. I don't know if it's because the cake is built up on it finally after smoking it for like 2 weeks, but it's just so easy. Like, you just pack it, you light it once, the thing stays lit. It's just convenient. It gives me a good taste. Like, I really don't have any complaints with it at all. This meerschaum is more of like a freaking fine lady, you know, or a wine, and you gotta keep giving it attention every now and then. Or she goes out on you. If you don't want her to go and cheat on you, you gotta freaking say hello to her every couple seconds. Which can be exhausting. Honestly, it's nice when I'm just here sitting by myself, you know, reading, or in the event I get to praying, when I have some free time to myself. That definitely ends up being the case. Yep, I think that's, I don't know, I'm having trouble keeping it lit at the bottom of this bowl now. Awesome. Well, really looking forward to getting into this W. Larsen signature. It smells amazing. I can see why it would be popular. I love the 10. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I love it. It's so cool. But yeah, sweet. Well, that's pretty much all I had planned for the pipe section of this video. Whew. That's over. Oh, man. Hope you're having a good week. I did want to take a little bit of time to shout out to new subscribers to the channel. One of them has been here since, like, literally subscribed the first video. I want to give a huge shout out. And then the other one I just got yesterday, I believe. Let me see. Adrian Jarquin. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for subscribing like 2 weeks ago. At least from the date of me making this video, it was 2 weeks ago. And thank you for the consistent comments. I hope you're doing great, man. I appreciate your viewership. And yesterday I got a new subscriber, Joseph Wagner. Thank you for the subscription, man. I hope you're having a great pipe if that's something you enjoy, and I hope you're having a good time overall. Now I plan on getting into the reading. I believe we're on chapter 5 now. Oh, let me open it up and see. Genesis chapter 5. Man, what an exciting starting to this, ultimately. It has been very cool. We just got into Cain and Abel. That's right, killing each other. Or, well, Cain, I guess, killing Abel. Excuse me, kitty. This cat, dude. These cats. Yeah, we had just gotten through chapter 4. We're into chapter 5 now. I will say, going forward, I think it'd be wise if you know, I'm not too particularly keen on the genealogy. So anytime I get into genealogy, I think going forward I'm going to skip it just because it's kind of tedious to read. But here we go. So, let me see, chapter 4. Oh yeah, that's when we got into, well, I don't remember this. Enoch was the wives, Lamech. Oh yeah, this is when we got into the sevenfold. Anybody that kills Cain will get cursed sevenfold, and then if somebody kills any generational member, it increases 10x or 17x. I don't know. Whatever, like 1.1x is probably really the best mathematical likeness. All right. This is the book of the generations of Adam, and the day that God created man in the likeness of God, where he made them male and female, and created them and blessed them, and called their name man. So he named them man. And the day when they were created and lived, Adam 31 years. 31 years, so 131. And fathered a son in his own likeness, according to his image, and called his name Seth. Very interesting that it says in his image now, no longer in God's image, in Adam's image, you know. So it's kind of like speaking to how, I guess, the human descendants slowly tamper away from the original image of God, which may explain why, you know, they lived for so much longer back then. Because we've just been slowly degrading that image. Not sure though. Not an expert. So now we got Seth. And Adam had him at 131 years old. Doesn't say who the mother is, which is kind of stupid. I would assume it's Eve, but who knows. And were the days of Adam, after he fathered Seth, 800 years. So Adam lived to be 931, because he lived an extra 800 years past Seth's birth. Good Lord. Can you imagine living that long, dude? That sounds awful. Personally, I used to want to live forever whenever I was young, but now that I'm 30 years old, I would be okay with it. It's funny how that works. I just want to live long enough to see my kids be successful and watch, you know, grandkids grow up. It'd be great to be a grandparent. What a blessing it would be. Let's see. And he fathered sons and daughters, and were all the days that Adam he lived 900 years and 31 years. So he lived to be 931. He had fathered sons and daughters, never mentions the women, mentions the sons. So I'm sure he had a bunch of daughters as well. And he died. He finally got what? Okay, so I wonder if when he got banished from the Garden of Eden, is that when his years started? You know, because it makes no mention of his age when he leaves the Garden of Eden initially. So did he live 931 years outside the garden? Was he already like 200 years old before he left the garden? It doesn't really correlate time-wise or state exact figures of how long he was in the garden before Eve came and before they partook in the apple, or not necessarily even apple, just fruit. It didn't even say apple. But he had his last child at 30 or 300.
or 131, sorry, 131. So then he didn't have kids for 800 years after that. I'd imagine it's because, I mean, he probably had like 12 or 15 and was like, that's enough. You know what I mean? And lived Seth 501 years. 5 and 100 years. So he only, okay, so after, this is like really hard to follow. So he died after being 931 years old, Adam did, and then Seth lived to be 105, and that's whenever he fathered Enosh. And lived Seth after Enosh 7 years and 800 years. So he lived another 807 years after being 105, so he was 912? So he lived just like, was that? I don't know, 15-ish years less than his father Adam. And he fathered sons and daughters, and were all of the days of Seth 12 years and 900 days. Yeah, so 912 years. And then he died. And Enosh, after, lived 900 years, or 90 years, and then fathered Canaan. And lived Enosh after he fathered Canaan 15 years and 800 years. So 815 years, he was 90, so it ended up being 905. So there's about like a 10-year, each generation's kind of losing like 10 years as they're going through time. I wonder what they did with all of their time on the planet. I mean, aside from like hunting and whatever food gathering, like you're here for 900 years, you've talked to God, you're probably still walking with God. Well, I know Enoch was because he ascended, right? So God's definitely still very present, very around all the time as he is today. And you have 900 years of just like talking with him, creating a civilization. Do you create shelter? Do you have a concept of what shelter is? What's the climate like? Where you're living? All those would be very interesting things to figure out, but we just don't have any context on those. So he did all that, and then he died. Enosh 5 years and 900 years, so 905, and then he died. And Canaan lived 70 years and fathered Mahalalel. I don't know how to pronounce that. And after Mahalalel, he lived 840 years plus 70. So he actually lived longer, right? No, he lived to be 910, same as his father. We're close enough. All right, so it's just a bunch of that. They all lived for a very long time and gave birth all the way through Genesis 5. Now we'll go into Genesis 6. So basically they're getting to the point where they're like Noah. Because they want to lead into, I'm assuming, the ark and the great flood. So that was like kind of the point of this, was just to speak the genealogy down to Noah. I wonder what the original man looked like. Adam had to have been, much different looking, especially because they're created from the dust of the earth. I've been watching these videos lately, and I like entertaining the ideas of things I definitely don't know or can't say. But there's a wonderful channel on YouTube called Mud Fossil University. I don't know if you guys have heard of him or not, but he has the belief that the earth itself is a corpse. And I know it sounds like super crazy if it's the first time you're ever hearing this, but the earth is a corpse. There was all these, all the biblical stories, were actual entities that died on the earth. So the giants he was talking about, I remember in a video today, he was talking about how giants had red blood cells that were like 3 feet large or in diameter. I don't know how you even know that, but if that's the case, I always wonder, was Noah a giant? Obviously he was in the image of God, so he wasn't a Nephilim, he wasn't a descended angel, wasn't any of that. But I just wonder what he looked like. Surely he wasn't just strictly, bipedal, 5'6" to 6'4" person like what we have today. I'd imagine he probably looked a little different, maybe didn't. Not as the classic depictions are of him in like a robe with a beard, looking fairly Jewish. But anyways, chapter 6. And it was that began men to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to that the God, the daughters of the men that were good, and they took for themselves wives. Oh, this is when it's talking about. And it was that began men to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born. To that the daughters of God, men, that they were good, and they took themselves for wives from those of whom they chose. So I think, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I think it's just saying, there was men and women, and men chose their wives, and it was good. And then God said, shall not strive my spirit with man always in their erring, for he is flesh, and shall be his days 120 years.
Which is really interesting that it says 120 years after people had lived 900 years. And then also you can get into the whole, mental catechism of it's a year, because I know later in like Daniel and all of them, they talk in prophetic timelines. So what they're meaning, like when they say a day, they're meaning 100 years, or they're meaning a year, or whatever. The context is really key. So it'll be interesting to know. I'm assuming we're just gonna take it verbose. We have no other context at this point. So he shall, now all of a sudden God's like, you guys are living for too long, 800 plus years, too long. So now we're going to restrict that to 120 years, which is actually really interesting that the Bible says this and was written so long ago. And nowadays, I had a conversation with a colleague of mine from high school, and he was saying, even with all the best advancements, because he's a neuroscientist, he's like, even with all the best advancements, it's really difficult to get a person to live longer than 120 years. Your body just degrades. That's kind of like the peak timeline. So it's interesting that the Bible, said that way earlier. I wonder why. It's almost like it was intended to be that way. And the giants were on the earth in those days, and even afterwards. Even afterwards, what? When came the sons of God to the daughters of men. So the angels, things God created, direct sons of God, because I guess I was under the impression that we were children of God as well, but I'm sure this is in reference to angels. Obviously there's a distinction. When he said, when the Bible said earlier that Adam's children were in his image and Adam's image, it made that distinction. And
in the chapters before, it said God created Adam in his image. I'm wondering if now there's a distinction between Adam's image and God's image. So there is that like parallel, the need to specify that these are sons of God now, even though that's what I thought we were, and sons of man. There's that distinction, which is interesting. Let's see. And they bore them, so obviously the sons of God and the daughters of man had sex and had children, and they were heroes who existed from the ancient times of Mayo name. Mayonnaise. Yeah, I don't know what that means necessarily, but they had amazing children that were heroes at that time. And saw God that was great. So God being great saw the evil of man on the earth, and every imagination of thoughts, that his heart was all evil all the day long. Good Lord. Whew. Sorry, this is like difficult to read interlinear, man. You really gotta kind of fill in the gaps. So it forms a coherent sentence. So they had Nephilim babies, amalgamations of sons of God and sons of man together. And it was, God saw it and said it was great evil. This man on the earth was great evil. I'm assuming it's only referring to man because that was just like the limits of Hebrew. It didn't maybe have enough distinctuality, or the original writer didn't think that it needed to have, they probably didn't have a college writing 101 course back when this was written, where you had a professor grade your work and say, hey, this needs to be, written better, or more direct, or more descriptive, concise. As I always get, I freaking hate writing. So God bless this guy for writing this down. Let's see. So every imagination was created on the earth, and it was all evil all the day long. So everything was evil. All the new creations of man were evil. And repented God that he had made man on the earth. Wow. Mad, he would even, not necessarily mad, but he repented that he made man. So he lamented at the fact that he had even created man. He was probably like, man, what a waste. All these people just canoodling unintendedly. This was supposed to be just the Garden of Eden with Adam, and then Adam started being a little twerp and needed Eve because God wasn't good enough for him. Man, God's got to be kind of over this, right? It's kind of fun to add human emotions and psychology to God, when I'm sure the depth of what really happened is far more rich. So then he was angered into his heart and said, God, I will wipe off all the man whom I have created from the face of the earth, from man to beast to creeping thing and to the fowls of the heaven. I regret that I made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. I regret that I made them. Wow. I guess sleeping with angels is like an abomination to God, harming the purity line of the blood, right? It makes sense, because earlier he was talking about, we're probably going to stop there, Genesis 6:8. just because it's so late. I would love to keep going, and perhaps I will get the opportunity in a couple nights from now to finish this and keep going. But it's very interesting. I wonder if he's mad because he made that comment to Satan about, or the serpent, about, you have struck our heel, but we will strike your head. So I'm wondering if this is like alluding to like, you're ruining my plans by mating with angels, which was probably, encouraged by Lucifer, if I had to guess. Obviously there's not context in this. So a lot of this is just inference, but I would think, unfortunately, as we go through this, my opinions will change because I will read more and know more. But ultimately, I think I would be pretty pissed too. I think that's kind of like a growing theme in the Old Testament, is just like how repeatedly humanity and man has like disappointed him, I think the lamenting and the regret and the repent of making man initially is like foreshadowing, because I know when we get into Exodus and God has all these wonderful things happen to the people he was freeing, they're still just so whiny and they want more, and they don't 100% just hold clear faith to God consistently, and poor Moses has to deal with that. But it's just like, man, and nowadays, look at what's going on everywhere. It's really a wonder we're fortunate enough to have our Creator care about us still. That's what they mean when they talk about His love, the best gift He's ever given us. And we are truly lucky and fortunate to have the ability to have that still, especially considering the history and everything that was going on. But alright. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Peterson Deluxe Mixture is great. Larsen smells incredible, like strawberry shortcake to me. Really looking forward to trying it out and giving a review on it in the future. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.